Are you ready to get your virtual assistant started on using AI? In this video, I'm gonna dive through how I basically have my assistant knowing more about AI than I do nowadays, and how we actually got to the point where a lot of our own 2XU virtual assistants are actually equipped on learning and using AI for themselves and for their clients. Now, the first step is always to set parameters. Now, when it comes to anything, when it comes to a new tool, a new skill, there has to be a parameter on what is acceptable and what is kind of a little bit basically the border or your own boundary when it comes to using this tool. Just like for most graphic artists, even though if they're using Canva or Photoshop, there are boundaries that are set in place of what is acceptable and what's more questionable. So the same thing with AI is for you and for your virtual assistant to stay ethical, to stay on basically the right side of AI, where you don't go deep down into the dark web of using AI, is to set parameters on what are the things that they can use AI for and how much. So for example, for me and for our virtual assistants and my own assistant, we set a parameter that, hey, if you're going to use ChatGPT, at least do these three things. The first one is personalize the heck out of it. It's going to go out into social media, if it's going to be used for operations, if it's going to be used for anything that other people will read other than you, is to personalize the heck out of it. The second is to double, triple check if it is the right information. That's why you want to personalize it as much as possible, because ChatGPT or AI will make things up because it will assume what it is that you're asking for. So if you don't double, triple check the information that is given to you by AI, high chances are it's going to be inaccurate. It's not going to be the right thing. And thirdly is just basically owning up to the fact that they're using AI. The biggest fear that a lot of employers have when it comes to having their employees use AI is like, oh, what if they hide it from me? What if they generate something that's really impressive and it was actually just created by AI? Now, this is where you setting the parameters comes in, where you have to state like, hey, if you're going to use AI or ChatGPT at all, at least let me know you did use ChatGPT for it. That way, if there's any inaccuracies or if there's anything that doesn't align, we can talk about it. We can make sure that it is set as a parameter, and I am aware that you're using AI out of this, so then I don't have to blame you for all the inaccuracies as they pop up. So it's a little bit of just transparency and that honesty all the way to make sure that, hey, you are building or training your ethical virtual assistant. Next is to start identifying what you can use AI with, or identifying the automation. So within 2XU, the easiest one, to be honest, is just anything that's repetitive, anything that it has to be done daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever that is, or anything that has to be done in a sequence of things. So a perfect example, and one of the first things that we automated, is our onboarding process. The moment someone, I hop on a call with someone, they become a client, the sequence of events that happen afterwards, like creating the, for example, very first job ad for that person or creating a report, that has slowly been automated into being AI generated based off of course, hundreds of other examples that we've basically used in the past that had to be done manually, is now being slowly taken over by AI through different automations. So whatever that could look like for you and your assistant, of looking over, what are the things we want to start automating? And this is a mistake that I see a lot of people make when it comes to using AI, is they tend to add more parts to their system instead of using AI to eliminate or make things just a little bit faster and a little bit more kind of uniform using AI. So as you and your assistant are starting to look at where can we have AI, look at the repetitive of what you can eliminate and take over rather than to keep adding. You can add later on. You can add cool, nifty things that you want AI to do for you in your business. But first, start with what you already have. Next is you want to make sure that you document and test. And this is the key thing, is as you've started identifying what are the automations you want to do, how you want to do them, you want to start making sure that you have a written standard operating procedure on how you're doing it. So you have your recipe book of how you're currently doing this process before you add AI. That way, if AI breaks anything, it's easy for you to just revert back to what it was, because you have, version 1 of what this looked like before AI was added. added. So that's a key thing to keep in mind, is you want to make sure you document, and then as you test, you basically keep updating that standard operating procedure with a version history that you have to make sure that every single version or revision that this process goes through is you have a backup plan, you have a way to retrace your steps to make sure that you can go back to what it was before AI, just in case AI breaks. Next is making sure that you go through results. Don't just set up AI, see that it kind of works already, and then just leave it to run. Make sure that you have monthly or quarterly checks where you're making sure that the AI actually works in the way that you want it to be. And again, you're not just letting it run in the background. Make sure you're iterating. Make sure that you are maybe finding better tools that integrate with your current tools and adding AI into it, rather than having to constantly keep switching basically between tools, signing up for 10 different tools to use AI with, when honestly, you could probably just use the native AI, whatever it is, on that tool that you're currently using. It doesn't have to be too overcomplicated. That's why I always recommend to check on results, check on what could be measured, basically on how much AI is saving you time on how much AI is making things just a little bit more uniform and easier to follow and easier to spot that it is your brand, whatever that looks like for you and your assistant. Again, it's just making sure that as you're implementing, you're also making sure that it actually works, that it helps you in the long run, that it's not just another thing that you've added into your repertoire and it's actually not helping you at all. And of course, then you can start creating what we call AI assistants. So AI assistants is basically the assistant of your virtual assistant, where they now have different automation setups for different tasks. So of course, in 2XU, we have an AI assistant for onboarding. We have an AI assistant when it comes to our social media posts. We have an AI assistant when it comes to us generating reports for new clients that we've gotten. So whatever that is, start thinking of the automations as kind of assistants of like, oh yeah, we have an AI assistant for this task, for this outcome, because it's easier to identify when things break when you start putting together what these AI automations do, not just like, oh, I have this automation for onboarding. Like, you have an AI assistant that helps you with onboarding, with creating reports, X, Y, and Z. So it's starting to name and put things together, so it's a little bit easier for you and your assistant to call these out. Now, of course, if you do want to have your own AI assistant created, I am a certified AI consultant. This is what I do for our clients all day long. And if you guys want to hop on a call, I'll leave a link in the description below. And of course, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. Comment below any questions you might have on using AI with your virtual assistant. I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. Hope you guys have an amazing day. And remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.